Hello and welcome back to Boopolo channel. My name is Pascal. Today I am going to do a review of a meat tenderizer mallet by a Checkered Chef. As you know, I do lots of stuff from Checkered Chef. I bought this myself. As you see, the checkered flag is on it. It's an Australian company. So this is a mallet, and I have a steak here, a not so good steak. It's not going to be very tender, and we are going to tenderize it with the mallet and with salt and with sugar. I will show you in a moment. But before we do that, I'll just measure the length of it. It's not too long. It's nice and compact. It's just 10 3/8 inches long, or 265 millimeters. The weight of it, it's not so heavy. Ounces, it weighs 9.4, so it's not so heavy. I have a good solid board here, and you need that if you're going to give it a good whack. You can use a plastic one if you want, but I have this one here. It just comes in plain packaging. So I'm going to take up this big lump of a steak. It's round steak, as far as I can see. And what we're going to do is we're going to season it first. If you are a bit squeamish about holding raw meat, just wear gloves. I'm not myself. So you can put on rock salt. It's probably better if you grind it. And then the last ingredient we're going to put on is sugar. So you're asking, why do I put sugar on a steak? It's going to sweeten it. Not really. It's not really going to sweeten it, as you know. When you put salt on meat, it makes it less tender. But when you put sugar on, it tenderizes the meat itself. We don't put a huge amount on, maybe 2 teaspoons, 1.5 teaspoons on each side, something like that. And we can rub that in like that then. I'm going to turn it over, but I'm going to turn it twice anyway. I like mixed pepper on it. And of course you want salt, but not too much. And then we will put the sugar on it. What we do then is we put plastic on top of it again, like this. Now, people are worried that when they're beating their steak up, a lot of people worry that it's getting too big and it's getting too thin. Don't worry about that. It will when you cook it, it returns to its original shape when you think it. So you may want to stand up doing this. I'm going to give it a big pounding. Some people say, "Oh, he's crazy." No, you are breaking the sinews in it. So it's going to knock it off shape, but don't worry about that. It will return to its original shape. I'm going to turn this over onto the other side. I'm going to beat the other side as well. To bring it outside, and we're going to cook it in the garden for you. So, there's a little bit more there, needs a banging. Maybe a little bit. It's where it's divided, where the fat is there, it's gonna be. So I'm gonna give it a bit more on the edge. And then a little bit more here. That plastic is fine. That plastic is biodegradable, which I prefer to use. We're going to bring it outside now and cook it and see is it edible as a fried steak. So we're going to cook it on a cast iron pan. Now we're outside, and this is Eden. You've met Eden before. She's
Hello.
the chief cook. Well, she's actually the head chef in a restaurant, so that's why I've given her this job. So
I'm not really that good at steak.
you didn't bring in a spatula.
Yeah?
We wanted to make sure, because we're outside, we're a little bit worried about the wind here, and this not getting hot enough. No, we're fine. So in our house, we like our steak medium rare. If you want to cook your steak a little bit, if you want to cook your steak up to medium, you just cook it for a little bit longer. So we're fine. And the ocean is here. You probably can't see it because we're in the shade at the moment. My daughter Kira wants to be in She wants to make a cameo, which she's made a few times before, but we don't want her to get splashed. So we're having steak now for afternoon snack. Yummy. The steak is starting to swell up again now, so it's shrinking.
Going to flip it now.
And we're going to flip it over. Yeah, that looks good.
Put a bit of butter there, will you?
You just put a knob of butter on the top of it there. Now you can see.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do,
Another minute.
I'm going to cut into the middle of it here. It's not too bad now, look. Now it's a nice little bit of blood there. Maybe another minute, yeah.
I don't want it overcooked.
Now, so you can take the steak out, then you can leave it for a few minutes and it'll still keep cooking. So this big steak here, so what I'm going to do is what I always do is I'm going to eat it.
Okay. Tender enough.
It's tender enough. Considering the cut that it was in it, we wouldn't dream of frying that before. A little bit bitey, but.
Oh, tender.
There's nothing wrong with a bad cut of beef. You can cook it and you can fry it, and that's actually very tasty. That's more tasty than tenderloin because there's a little bit of fat in the veins on it. So, So that's the Checkered Chef, and this really bad piece of beef has turned into a really good piece of beef. As you can see, it has shrunk. It hasn't shrunk quite down. It's nice and medium rare, maybe a little bit more than medium rare on the inside, but it's very it's very nice for a barbecue, something like that, in a barbecue sauce and that. If we didn't do the tenderizing and we didn't put the sugar in it, we wouldn't have been able to fry that and we wouldn't have been able to eat that. It would have been just used in a stew and cooked in a slow cooker. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Eden, for cooking the steak. And if you like this video or any of our other videos here on Boopolo, please subscribe.